Time. Space. So unbelievably vast, it's nearly incomprehensible. In Christopher Nolan's film Oppenheimer, the titular character, played by Cillian Murphy, is flirting with his future wife, played by Emily Blunt. And he tells her that everything in the universe is made up of mostly empty space. Tiny particles held together by strong forces of attraction to create the illusion of solid matter. I watched this movie again recently, thinking about the relative nature of size and scale. The particles that make up my skin appear to me to be so close together that there is no empty space between them at all. They appear to be one solid thing, but if I could shrink down small enough, the space between them could eventually appear to be incredibly vast. Go the opposite direction, and you start to realize that if you could grow yourself to be the size of the Milky Way galaxy, the distance between a human person on Earth and the planet Saturn would basically be imperceptible. You wouldn't be able to identify empty space between any of the celestial objects in our immediate solar system. It would all look like one solid object. So what does that say about life? How does this have anything to do with your birthday? Well, time scales in a similar way. Scale back, even those of us that live to 100 have only been here for as long as it may take you to snap your fingers if observing it from a different scale. How can we measure the value, the worth of our time? How much is every year really worth? How nervous should we be about what comes next, or concerned with how we've spent the time we've been given? Einstein said it best: relativity. Take a look around. We measure our life's value relative to those we've been lucky enough to spend it with. A man floating in space alone would never know the difference between 60 years and 1,000,000. But a man who has his family beside him, those that love him and will walk those years hand in hand with him, are what makes them have meaning. You have been giving my life meaning since the day I was born. Every person here has had value added to their lives just by knowing you. You are one of the most caring, intelligent, and hardworking people any of us have ever met. And the value of our years have been immeasurably increased the more time we have had to know you. So thank you. Thank you for the 60 years you have spent with some of us, and the less you've spent with others, specifically the 19 you've spent with me. I couldn't have done any one of them without you. And so, we all thought it would be pertinent, since this is quite the milestone, to share our stories of how you've brightened our years and brought meaning to the time that without those we love would be meaningless.
Hey Patty, happy birthday. It's a big one. I know you said that you didn't want a party, so I didn't throw you a party. You said you just wanted to have dinner with family, so I hope you enjoy all the people around you who care about you and are here to celebrate and say happy birthday without having a party. And I hope you see the glass half full today. I know you have that charming, uplifting way of saying that it's just 1 year closer to dying, but maybe you'll see it as an accomplishment having reached this point. And I hope you reflect on all your other incredible accomplishments, including schools and having worked in sports, pro sports, college sports, and own your own business and sold your own business. Yay! And all our travels, and you wanted to have kids, so you got to have 2 stepkids and your own son. And I hope you look back on that as a big accomplishment right now, because we're looking at next stage of our life, maybe grandkids someday. And I hope you feel great about having been an awesome stepdad and a great dad and an excellent husband most of the time. Happy birthday. We love you so much. I hope you really enjoy your evening. And I could tell all kinds of stories, but I am reminded that this is, it's PG. We have all kinds of family around, so can't tell those stories. And I'm not the first person who thought that. But I hope you have a great birthday, and I hope you feel really good about having reached this occasion, and I hope you have many more, and we have lots of great adventures still to come together. Love you.
Daddy, first of all, welcome to your 60s. Happy birthday. Mom told me that this video is supposed to be a couple of my favorite memories with you, but I had too many to choose from. So I figured I'd try to kind of fit a bunch into one short video. To start off, before I met you, the only thing I knew about step-parents was what Disney taught me, which was that all step-parents are evil inherently. So before I met you, I was determined to hate you. But after the first time that Mom left us alone with you and you took us to the pool at your apartment and played catch with us for hours, I knew that my mission to hate you was going to be much more difficult than I had originally anticipated. Fast forward just a few short months later, and I was writing you a Hanukkah card with my gift to you that you no longer had to sleep in the basement. Come to find out as an adult that you hadn't been sleeping in the basement probably for quite some time, but it was my 9-year-old way of letting you know that you were no longer separate from the rest of the family that lived upstairs. You are now a part of it. Fast forward again just a little bit, and some of my fondest memories from my whole childhood are our nightly gossip sessions where I would tell you all of the juiciest details about everything that happened in middle school that day. As expected, it got a little complicated sometimes, so you had your notebook so that you could make sure that you could keep track of who was dating who was fighting with who, and even where everybody sat in the lunchroom. At the time, I feel like both of us just thought of it as a fun, bonding, silly thing. But looking back on it as an adult, I definitely feel like that was a huge thing for me because it let me know that what mattered to me mattered to you, and you wanted to hear what I had to say, even if it was just about some stupid boy who I had a crush on in middle school whose name you couldn't pronounce. And then, of course, there were also all the times that I wrecked the car. I'm not going to go into details about all of the many times that it happened, but each time I was terrified to tell you because I was scared you were going to be mad at me. And I don't think that even one time you ever raised your voice or got mad at me or even told me you were disappointed in me in any way. In fact, the one time that sticks out in my mind the most was when I sideswiped the cement pole and you came to comfort me because I was hysterical crying. And as you tried to open the car door, it came off in your hand and you started hysterically laughing, which was not the reaction that I was expecting at all. I could go on and on, all these little stories about all the reasons why I love you and the best times that we've had. But I think I will just want to end by saying, I know we all make fun of your grumpy face sometimes, but despite sometimes coming off a little rough around the edges on the outside, in my mind, you're always just the guy who cries at peanut butter commercials. I know you don't love always celebrating your birthday, but I think out of all the people I know, you deserve to be celebrated the most. Just everything you do for your family and your friends and everybody that you love, just so that we can show you that we love you too. I hope you have the best day ever. Happy birthday.
Hey Patty, I just wanted to say happy 60th birthday. When you met my mom, you had this nice head of, brown hair, kind of like this, but not quite as much. And then you met me, and now you look like you do now. So I'll take the blame for that, but you keep doing what you're doing, and again, happy birthday.
Hello.
Hi, Patty.
We're in our kitchen.
We
had a little bicker.
I remember, Patty, when you got married to Becky in our backyard and under this wonderful tent. And I said, here's a real man she's finally found. And you broke down in tears. I mean, you were bawling. I think you had to leave the tent and come back. But, you've grown up since then. So happy 60th.
And you probably bawl a lot more because there's more to bawl about now. My best, not memory, but what I think of as who you are was
Memory.
when we went to Paris together. I have a lot of memories of you, but this is, for me, the quintessential you. And as soon as we got into Paris proper, got our stuff put away in an apartment, and we went and we sat in a cafe, which you were staring and looking all around because you're very observant, and you're also very comical and kind of artistic in your comedy. You looked and you looked at everybody, and you said, "Are all of the men here gay?" Because French men are very slim and they wear slim cut clothes. They're not slim because of their diet, it's in their DNA. And they were all wearing scarves. And you said, "Are they?" I said, "No, they're metrosexual." But whether or not metrosexual was the word, I said it was kind of a French thing. And you grabbed Becky's scarf and you tied it and you wore it the rest of the trip, as if you were a French metrosexual. And you ate fried frog's legs. And that was a huge thing. And those are the things I love you for, Patty. Frog's legs and scarves and your ability to push your boundaries, to challenge things that you would never have done if you hadn't married Becky. Bye.
And there's Ina's short video.
Bye.
Hi Patty, happy birthday. I think I missed the mark to have this be included in your birthday dinner, but I wanted to say happy birthday, and I'm so proud that you're 60 years old and I'm 22 years old, and I have somehow survived all of these years without a Thursday night dinner. And I found this thing that says Patty, and it has a bow on it, so it's for your birthday. So happy birthday, Patty.
Look, I'm almost as bald as Patty.
Patty.
Patty, yeah.
Patty. AKA.
PJ.
AKA Uncle Pappy.
Pappy, Slappy.
No.
Irish Patty.
We had, it's so funny, Irish Patty. We had all these stories we were going to tell that were funny. And then we realized that this was...
He's not Irish? He's Jewish. I thought I'm so confused.
You're not confused.
Okay, sorry.
We were going to tell all these funny stories, and then we realized that it was not just for your own eyes.
You know me. I don't want to offend anybody.
So anyway, we're going to save those stories for private video. Not that kind of video.
No.
No.
Those days are over.
But anyway, we just wanted to say you're the absolute
fucking
best.
love you, man.
Yeah,
There's
you're
nobody
the best.
better than you. We love you. We love you. Happy birthday, and you'll always be 2 months or so older than me.
Love you. Happy 60th. Mwah.
Hi, Patty. This is me saying thank you for getting to 60 before me. So you can show me how it's done later this year. I am trying to remember the very first time I met you was when Becky brought you down to my house in Burlington, New Jersey, I think. You had just come in from Cleveland and stayed with us. And I was thinking, What a crazy scene you walked into right from jump. Because none of me and my sisters are normal, in case you haven't noticed. I also am remembering, unfortunately, you were not with us at my wedding in Mexico, but Becky gave the funniest toast. As she raised up her glass, she looked at me and said, "May you be as happy as the rest of us married people." And then she cackled her head off. So I was trying to decide in that moment whether or not she was being serious, being funny, or a combination of both. Something tells me it's a combination of both. You two have stuck it out for quite a long time. And that takes, at least in my world, a lot of practice and effort. So thank you for keeping my sister happy, and by association, me. Now, back to you. It also occurs to me we don't really spend all that much time together. And that's, I guess, all our faults in a sense, because we let life get in the way, and then COVID intervened too. But it made me happy to see how much you and Becky were there for Charlie. And I don't know why, but I can't get through this without talking about him too, because he was a big part of all our lives. I am just so appreciative of all of the time that you have given to not just your wife, but the rest of our family. So for that, I say thank you, and I hope that 60 is the start of the best parts. Happy birthday.
Okay. Happy birthday to Patty Jarrett. Anyway, you're turning 60. Now, you might be a little depressed by that, but think about the effect on me to have a kid brother-in-law who's 60. That's pretty depressing if you think about it. Anyway, I remember you, the first time I met you, you were a punk kid, what, about 11 or 12. You were sitting in your parents' living room, sucking on your water pistol, and Harry had said to you, "Patty, please don't do that," and you said, "No." And then she said, "Come over here and shake hands with Stacy's new boyfriend," and you said, "No." And I gotta tell you, all these years, I never forgave you for that. But seriously, I have to tell you that it's been a pleasure and an honor to be your brother-in-law, and that your sister loved you so much and was so proud of you, and I'm so sorry that she couldn't be here. And now you're going to go in the bathroom and cry, and I'm going to go in the bathroom and cry. And anyway, happy birthday. I'm looking forward to celebrating it with you.
Okay. Take.
Okay, here we go. Take 29.
All right. One of the great existential questions of all time: why does Patty exist? We, having known Patty longer than anyone here, have the answer to that question. The answer can be given in one word: boredom. His mother was bored. Art was 14. Stacy was 11, and they no longer needed nor wanted their mother's constant care. She was bored of playing mahjong. She was bored of playing canasta. She was bored of shopping. The solution? Have a baby. Many people thought that Patty was an oops baby. After all, he came along 12 years after Stacy. Nope. His parents swore up and down that he was as planned could be.
We don't want to list all of the wonderful things that Patty has brought into our lives. There have certainly been a lot. We only want to share his very earliest contribution. Sarah and I had started dating only 3 months after Patty was born. Our parents thought we volunteered to babysit out of the goodness of our hearts. No way. While we babysat for Patty, we had some of the best makeout sessions ever. I never got past first base, but who knows, if it weren't for that taste of things to come, we may not have been around here 60 years later celebrating Patty's birthday together.
So Patty, thanks for needing a babysitter, and thanks for being the best brother ever. We love you.
Go.
Okay, so when I was 17, I flew out to California to spend some time with Patty as a graduation present. He was teaching at UC Santa Barbara, and his class that semester happened to be wrapping and taping. And the next day after I got there, they were doing groin and thigh taping, and he said to me, I'm going to pair you up with a particularly attractive girl in the class. This was the type of thing Patty would do for me as a nice graduation gift. So we get into the class the next morning, and I'm thinking there's no way he's going to be able to do this, or he's going to follow through with it. And sure enough, we get lined up in class, and everyone's standing in two lines, and she's on the opposite side of the room. And so I said, well, clearly there's no way this is going to work. So he starts pairing everybody up, and he goes, you go with you, you go with you, you go with you, you go with you. And he points to her and he goes, you go all the way over there with him. You go with you, you go with you, you go with you, you go with you. And so he managed to pull it off. It was completely ridiculous, but this is the type of thing that Patty would do for me as part of my graduation present.
Happy 70th, Patty. Almost at 80. Love you guys and miss you guys. Have a good day.
Happy 40th. Happy birthday, Patty. Big 4-0. Live it up while you're young. Miss you guys. Love you. Sending all my love.
Happy birthday, Uncle Patty. We're so happy to be celebrating with you. And I have a little girl who's really excited to be pulling your ears. Not me, silly goose. Your uncle.
Hi, Patty from Salt Lake City, Utah. You can see the beautiful snow-capped mountains in the background. Hope you don't mind the traffic noise in the background. I'm actually looking for my neon green Dodge Charger. I'm late for a meeting, so I'm going to make this video really quick. I've got to say, thinking back to memories of spending time with you out in California when I was a little kid, to nowadays, I love the fact that you love to get the family together for every year at the beach or, going on family trips. I just, it really is such a special time, spending those moments with you. And now that I have kids of my own, they absolutely adore you. And it's just so amazing to watch you interact with them. I am looking forward to you actually offering to take them for a weekend every once in a while. It really is such a special relationship that you've developed with them. I hope I'm getting some tears out of this. But anyway, like I said, I do have to run. I really don't know how I misplaced the really bright neon green Dodge Charger. It kind of sticks out, but I think I'm just gonna have to go call the insurance company, the cops, tell my wife. She's gonna be so freaking mad at me. So let me go do that now. Man, it's gonna be such a mess. I'm gonna, spent this whole trip out here, so whatever, maybe I'll do it next year. And I just won't misplace my car. Hopefully you won't have to go through anything like that. So I love you, man. Happy birthday. And I'll see you soon.
Happy birthday, Patty. We love you.
Happy birthday, Uncle Patty. Today, I want to make a video for you. Dance video. The song will be from the Nutcracker, when the flowers are dancing.
recorded that first video, which was very sweet and said happy birthday, but I couldn't think of any stories that I could tell that could be told in a way that was PG. So I gave it some thought, and I came up with a couple things that stand out as highlights of our family life together. The first one is when you came to my house and I had to put the dogs away before we went out, and that was an experience in itself that I think you were a little bit shocked, but you got used to it. But on the grooming table behind me was a styrofoam cup, a pair of rubber gloves, and a turkey baster. And you said, "What's that for?" And I said, I don't think you really want to know. Let's talk about that another time. And you weren't satisfied with that, so I had to give you the nitty-gritty about what that was for, and that was an interesting dinner conversation for the evening. I think you were scarred for a couple months, but you got over that. And then the next story is about when you and I were, seeing each other as a patient and PT. My kids had met you and they knew you, and they liked you. Think you were a nice guy. But once we moved from that, and I was discharged as a patient and started, to think about dating and eventually dating, we thought it might be better if we didn't involve the kids until we were sure where it was going, because you were moving to Cleveland. And so we didn't know if the relationship was going to hold out for the distance of Cleveland to back here, and, all that kind of unknown stuff. So we didn't really hang out with the kids too much as a couple until you came back from Cleveland. And the first day that we really went out anywhere as a couple with the two kids, we took them out to eat. And Zach, who, I don't know if you guys know this, but Zach is lactose intolerant. And then we took him for ice cream. And he knew that he could suffer if he ate that ice cream, but he didn't. He did it anyway. And we were driving home, and you had picked us all up in your brand new Saab black convertible with its brand spanky new car smelling leather. And you had traded in your purple, I don't even know what that car was. You had a little purple tiny convertible when I met you, which once you got the job with Cleveland, you bought that fancy Saab, and you picked us up in the Saab, and we were driving home from the dinner and ice cream, and Zach desperately said, I need a bathroom, right now. And we were on 95, going over a bridge. There was no area to stop in, and he kept really pressing and saying, I need it right this second. And we were like, there's nowhere for us to get off here, and we'd have to wander streets and find a bathroom. And P.S. We got off as quickly as we could and pulled into a gas station. And we were like, okay, we're here. Let's run to the bathroom. And Zach said, it's too late. And we laugh about this as a family. And sorry, Zach, I'm glad you're not here watching this, because you'd kill me for telling this story. But it was a mess, and it was down in his pants and socks and shoes and all over the new car. And I think Patty, I think he handled that better than just about anybody I know ever could. And he didn't get upset. He was calm and cool. He kind of laughed, and he took Zach into the bathroom at this gross gas station and cleaned him all up. They threw out the pants, they threw out the socks and everything else. And he came out of the bathroom. He came running back. He got something out of the trunk, and they came back, and Zach was wrapped in this wool Mexican blanket, which he covered himself with, and got back in the car. And Patty was like, it's all right, happens, could happen to anybody. I'd never known anybody that it happened to in a fancy car, but it was the beginning of his relationship with the kids. And, I thought that was really pretty cool that he didn't flip out. And not only did he not flip out, but he made Zach feel completely comfortable, as if that happened every day, all the time, no big deal, don't even worry about it. And I could never look at that blanket the same way after that. And another story I thought about where he really, was kind of a hero in the story was when Shayna was in think either late middle school or early high school, one of the first guys that she ever like dated and had a big crush on and all. And she started to go out with him for a while, and he broke up with her while I was away somewhere. I think I was at a dog show for the weekend, and I think her dad was away too, and it was just her here with Patty. And he did the sweetest thing. He went out and bought her a dozen roses and wrote her this really sweet letter and poem, just talking about how, guys are idiots, and how no matter what happened, that she would always have him there, thinking that she's awesome and amazing. And as a stepdad, that he was so proud of her, and she should forget about this dumb guy and, think about the people who really love her, like her family, like Patty does. And I think that's so sweet. And that was very, again, moment where it shows what life was like most of the time with Patty as a stepdad. And I think those are just a couple of stories. Also, I always think it's kind of funny that Patty took that job, and he didn't actually mention that the first few weeks that we were dating. And then he left, and he wanted me to meet his family, even though he wasn't here. And I remember that's kind of funny that he arranged for me to meet his family. I met Stacy and Jeff and Sarah and Art. I don't know if I met Jackie that day, but all during a time when Patty was out working in Cleveland and he wasn't even there. So that was also kind of funny and very Patty to do that. Anyway, happy birthday, Patty. You're the best. I have so many more stories I could tell. Oh, actually, let me think about it. Thursday night, that's a story that could go on, because that's like 25 stories in one, where I thank Patty for providing detailed sex education for my kids every Thursday night, while I ran out of the room and tried to do anything else but sit there. Complete with a Our Bodies Ourselves book and actual demonstrations of, how to do certain things, certain ways. But I got to give it to Patty. He stepped into the role. He really did a good job. So love you, Patty. Happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Dad. We love you so much, and to many, many more.